Greetings everyone, welcome back to Pony Panels. Yeah, Pony Panels only happens every 3 weeks. Well, what can you do? That's when the comics release. And this time it's for Friends Forever number 30, featuring two of my favorites. In fact, I would dare say, if you go back to my list, my number one and number four. Yay! Obviously, Pony's in a we want to love you mood in the comics for me. So, what is it this time? Well, Friends Forever number 30 brings about a Twilight and Cadence comic. Ah, those two. Friends literally forever. Those two have been. And this one actually answers a few questions or two, as well as brings up a very important topic for those that have to deal with being in a high pressure position, like Cadence is. After all, she was appointed the Princess of the Crystal Empire by her niece. And as this comic shows, dealing with that pressure and the role and being herself or being appreciated for their role is a lot tougher than you would think for the quote unquote Disney stereotype. You see, Cadence just wants to be treated normally like everybody else, but she can't even walk the streets of the Crystal Empire without being bowed at or overly appreciated because of her position. So, when her and Twilight decide to hang out for a few days, that's what she's trying to do. Not be a princess for 5 seconds. But she's truly masking something deeper. She doesn't feel worthy of a role. Or she doesn't know how to handle it. She doesn't feel like making the big decisions because that's not who she is. She's too kind and gentle natured to get in the middle of a tit for tat. She's just wants to chill girl. As we find out in this comic. But the pressure of her position and who she wants to be fastly begins to mount, and even Twilight, with the help of her brother Shining, can't seem to shake her out of her confidence lulls. So bad that when Cadence is actually has to deal with the grievances of the day, as is her job, she ends up passing the buck quite appropriately to also give you a physical representation of how she's emotionally feeling. She wishes that it was somebody else's job, and that just being herself just isn't enough to satisfy the role of being the princess or even somebody in power. And that's quite a brutal life lesson that some people have to deal with. The idea of being some sort of celebrity or important person somehow becomes bigger than who they actually are. And when you take the veil off, that it can that sometimes we think that if we're just ourselves for 5 minutes, people won't appreciate what we do or how we do it. But as Cadence learns in the comic, it is the fact that she is her kind, gentle, noble self that the people of the Crystal Empire appreciate most, that the people closest to her appreciate most. That she didn't have to put on a royal facade or a character to be appreciated, or even best yet, an inspiration for people that she doesn't know. That just by being herself and making the choices that she makes, she's an inspiration, something to inspire to be, setting a moral and social high ground that people find relatable and respectable. A true sign of a true leader. This is an overall branching lesson not only to the Alcorn narrative, which it shows why people love Luna so much, because she's so personal, down to earth, and relatable, but why people enjoy, despite all the negativity of Cadence's princess stereotype, why people connect with her so much. It's just because she's so gosh darn likable, you can't really hate her. And this comic is truly Cadence at her most vulnerable moments, which makes her even more likable. Because as somebody who has been liked for a facade, but also liked for oneself, I can appreciate that. In fact, it's the very notion of why this channel exists. For those that are uninspired or fearful of joining the YouTube ranks, or by just getting their opinions out there. My hopes as a content creator is to be just like Cadence, an inspiration that you don't have to really be anything special or do anything special. Just be yourself. Don't compromise. Sometimes, if you do it enough, people will start to appreciate it. And for even some on a deeper level, they'll start to be motivated by it, inspired by it. Not only to become better creators, if you are one, but better people, which is ultimately my hope. That through the work that I give you here, you're inspired not only to become more honest and true creators, but better people through it. This is mainly Cadence's best comic appearance, most emotional to be sure, and it really shows the family dynamic between herself, Twilight, and Shining, but also gives you a deeper notion into the connection to her people, and how she individually feels, and why she feels her role, at least in her own little space, is the most important thing, and why balancing the role of what everybody needs you to be as to who you are can sometimes be a very difficult task. And sometimes all we need is a reminder that what we've already done for people is enough of an inspiration and a drive to help many others by not wearing a mask, by being true to yourself. You show the most honesty, most caring, and most of all, the most love you can. Not only for yourself, but those that you inspire. This comic is a beautiful character expose, drawn beautifully. Although there aren't as many jokes, the overarching moral drives it home. And it is one of the best Friends Forever comics, especially for a character who has been so typecast in a role so unfair. Maybe this comic will finally be the one that breaks the veil over Cadence's character. And maybe we can learn to appreciate her a little bit more as a fandom too. God knows I would want that for her. Because this comic has only made me love her more. If you feel the same way about it, then this comic is a must read. A 5 out of 6 on our Harmony scale. And one of the most needed comics for one of the most underappreciated in our big little world. Be an inspiration by being yourself. And find peace no matter the pressure in your own nirvana. Thanks for watching.